Hey gang, welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. Today's video, well, changes are happening. Like it or not, we have to change what is going on in our lives sometimes. And that is what is happening today. You've been following me along for years, and it's time for me to move on to the basket case Camaro. I'm going to get back started on it, and so I am planning to get it out of where it's at right now, which has been sitting outside under tarps for years. It's going to get moved, and it'll be in here very soon. So follow along. The basket case, there were 2 videos that I did on it, I don't know how many years ago now. Didn't get really much of anything done on it, but I will do more of an overview again of the car, and so you can see what's going on with it and talk about what the plans are. So check it out. Yep, the basket case Camaro is back in the shop. I'm finally getting back to working on it. Now, I started on this car in 2014, late 2014, so it's been over 7 years since I worked on this car. Now, in the meantime, I've built other cars. I've built some Mustangs, I've worked on other people's projects and different things like that, and that has been fine. That has been good. I built the light blue Mustang, I think, in that time period. Then I built the Mystique Mustang, and then I took on the convertible project known as the Brooklyn Pony, and you know, that was all well and good, all good stuff. The Brooklyn Pony is not being worked on anymore, and you know, things change, things happen, and sometimes you just can't resolve issues, and you have to move on. So that's what I've done. The Brooklyn Pony is no longer in the shop. It's in another location, and I'm going to work on this Camaro. Now back to that. Again, I started on it in 2014, and prior to that, I had worked on the black 68 Camaro. So you can go back and look at it if you want. I put on quarter panels, tail panel, wheel houses, floor pan, firewall, and I did a Detroit Speed wheel tub kit. So that turned out really, really nice, and I ended up selling that car. Now, what I had planned to do initially when I had the other Camaro here was work on this one and use the first one as a reference for measurements and stuff like that. It just didn't happen. So now I'm back to doing it the way I would do other things, to where I put pieces on the car, measure, test fit, adjust, do those sort of things. So let me give you an overview of the car, even though you probably, if you've seen the other 2 videos, those had a decent overview, but let me give you even more information and tell you what I plan to do. Okay, so in the first video, I talked about the fact that this car was from Texas, that it was a rollover, and the gentleman who was working on it got in over his head, and I still stand by that. And I talked about it, the color I thought was a original yellow, but it wasn't. It's actually a rally green, which is what you see on the tail panel. Now this car, from my understanding, came from Texas. It was rolled over at some point. How, what, when, why, I have no idea. I don't have any pictures or anything to base it off of, but I do know that this side here, this was crushed down. This section was pushed down here, and then somebody took a jack and tried to push this up. This is all out of shape, and to me it just can't be fixed at this point. And of course it has a lot of rust from, you know, just life. So the plan is to remove the entire side of this car. I'm going to take the wheel houses out, all of the roof structure, the A-pillar, the rocker panels, everything, or at least the outer rocker. I may leave the inner rocker. and I'm going to replace it with this. Now this has been sitting in my shop for like 7 years now, but this is a complete side of the car, and I'll have to go into more details later with what I have to do to make this fit. So just kind of giving you an overview at this point, and I'll point out that apparently this is a Dynacorn part. I did not realize that when I ordered this from some random company. You know, this arrived and had Dynacorn or DII on the wheelhouse. So when they sent this to me, this was bent. This was pushed in, and it's out of shape right here. So they also sent me afterwards. They sent me another wheelhouse, inner and outer, if I decided to replace those. Now, the other things, the car has 2 new front fenders, a new core support, aluminum radiator, powder coated subframe, tubular control arms, upper and lower, and apparently 2-inch drop spindles from what I recall. And again, the previous owner had started to smooth the firewall and added disc brakes, put in a new heater core, which is kind of confusing to me because why would you do all this when this isn't right? So anyway, there's also a new dash panel, which I may or may not need. I do know that I have to remove the original, so that'll be part of the process. Looking at the interior of the car, the floor pan is actually pretty nice. There's a one spot right down there by the plug hole there where it has some rust or damage, and it's a little out of shape there where something may have hit it from underneath. I may be able to reform that and leave this alone. At least that's the thought. Also, here, this has a new inner package tray, let's say, or package shelf. And back here, I have all of the pieces and parts. So, this is the outer wheelhouse. There's 2 of them actually, one for either side. So I have those 2 plus a third. So I ended up with 3 of these. I have an inner wheelhouse, the roof, both quarter panels, tail panel, passenger side rocker panel, deck filler, cowl panel. There is another piece here that is the nose for the in front of the hood. Behind the roof is a new trunk lid, and what you don't see is the hood that I have, and the there's something else. Oh, the other fender. I have the other fender. They're both in my storage building. This side of the car, they've already cut everything off, and this isn't as bad compared to that side. It looks like they started to try to replace at least part of this wheelhouse because they had this in the car and they had cut it down and were attempting to sort of, I don't know, do something and put it together. So this is no good. Now, the rocker panel on this side is bad. It's rusted through and it's caved in. Now, I don't know if that was part of the accident when it was rolled. I really don't know. I do have this door and another door just like it that are both in yellow. And I have, I think, the original doors from the car itself that are green. So that gives me just about everything there. Oh, let me point this out. In this box, there's a variety of things. I've got brake lines, set those aside. Everything in here is all the roof structure. And I've talked about this on the other videos. This is all the roof structure for the car. There's random stuff in here. There's some headlight buckets. There's some more brake lines in this bag, small brake lines. So all of this will be used to put it back together. Yeah, big puzzle, but my kind of puzzle. So now you have a better view or overview of what I plan to do with this car. There's going to be some challenges. That side of the car it has the inner and outer rocker, and of course all of the other structure. The difficulty is, and I was talking about this on my live stream today, if I try to use my body cart that I have at this point, I would be setting everything on the pinch welds. The difficulty there is I can't separate those and have the weight on the pinch welds. You know, you got overlapping pieces that are butted together and welded, and then if I try to fit in the new piece, it may not work like I think it should. The plan, at least at this point, is to start by removing, in this case, let's say the outer rocker by itself. I'm not going to do the inner anyway, but I want to remove the outer rocker, fit the new one in, see how that works. Also the wheelhouse, fit that in. And I'm not going to really weld everything in yet until I get the roof figured out. So I can't do the roof until I have the other side removed and put back in. And there'll be a lot more details on that as we go forward. But I may be doing most of the work with the car actually on the suspension. And I know there's people out there that are going to say, don't do that, you have to have it on a jig and all these different things. And I get that. The difficulty is I don't have a jig for this car, and I can't do it with the way it's designed. I just can't. So I'll give you more information on that as I move forward, but now you know. Stay tuned for the next video. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment, and until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.